except it doesn't have words on it, it has notes on it, all right? And do you know how they make a newspaper? How do they make a newspaper?
They stamp it.
Yeah?
They type it.
They type it, right? Or they, with machines, right? There's a shop, it's a newspaper office, where they take paper, right? And they print words on it, right?
How do they make those
Pictures, well, they have machines to do that, too. And music's a little bit like that. The company I work for, we don't make newspapers, we make music books. And so we have a lot of people who write music and people who type the music out. Some people work on computers, and then we got these big printing presses that print the music. So that you can go to the music store and buy music whenever you have a song that you might want to play on your instrument.
I could be a musical writer too someday.
Like paper, except it's on the screen, okay? And what we have here is music, right?
Yeah.
And instead of words in music, we use, like, instead of words, like when you write your name or write sentences, we use these things called, what do you call these things? Notes. You're probably starting to learn about those in the music class, or if you take lessons, you know about those. So instead of writing these notes on the staff, this is the staff, mine's here, I use the computer to do it. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do it. And if I wanted to, then I could press a button and take this page, print it on a printer. I could hand it to you and you could play it on the piano, or maybe on your clarinet, or whatever. So that's sort of how we make music books at the company I work at. So I'm going to show you, we're going to take, on this spot that doesn't have any notes in it, we're going to put some notes in there, okay? Now some of you probably worked a little bit with computers, right?
Yeah.
You know that this is called a mouse, right? Watch how I do this now. I've got all these things over here called tools. There's a whole bunch of them. We're just going to start with this one because it helps me select notes. See all the different notes I've got to choose from?
Yeah.
Right now, this is my favorite note. I'm going to use that one. It's called a quarter note. Okay? And I'm going to go down on this staff right here where there are no notes, and I'm going to put in some quarter notes. And I can do it just by clicking. Look at that. See how fast those went in? A lot faster than drawing them with my pen or pencil. Plus, they look really nice, don't they? If I printed it out, it really looks cool. Now, let's say I change my mind. Remember what we talked about? What do you have to do when you use a pencil? You have to erase. Well, look at this little tool up here. What's this thing look like?
Eraser.
Right. And I can erase it. It's gone. So when I'm composing music, I'm really making it up in my head, right? And then I write it down. So if I don't write it down, I put it in the computer. Now Beethoven, when he made up the music in his head, he wrote it down. But now with the computer, we can do it a lot faster, a lot easier. Beethoven, not Beethoven the dog. Beethoven was a composer who lived a long time ago, and he wrote a lot of good music.
And he played the piano.
The man, Beethoven the man, right? Right. He played the piano. And he was kind of a nutty guy. His hair was out to here. Right. There's a great video out sometime if you ever have a chance to rent it. It's called Beethoven Lived Upstairs. Have you ever seen that? Oh, it's about a little boy who lived downstairs and Beethoven, the composer, lived upstairs. It's a great video. You should rent it.
Where's it at?
At a video store. Remember, it's called Beethoven Lives Upstairs. It's a great story. Okay, but I'm not Beethoven. I'm a computer guy. Right? So I'm going to show you now how we put in lots of notes. Look at this. I'm going to go down here on this staff. Look at all these notes. Whoops. So this time I use this keyboard and this keyboard. Two kinds of keyboards. Music keyboard, see the piano keys on it. The other one's computer keyboard. So that's how I put those notes in. Now, once again, if I change my mind and I don't want to use those notes, I can very quickly use these tools, select them, and they're gone. Look at that. All gone. Now I have some notes that I put in here before you guys came. See these notes up here we were pointing at earlier? I'm going to play those notes for you because that's the other thing the computer can do. After you put the notes in, it will play the music for you so you can hear it. And that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to start playing. You're going to see these notes. You're going to hear them played by my synthesizer. Now that's these boxes over here. And I've got all sorts of different sounds in here. The sound that we're going to hear right now sounds like a piano. That's the one you just heard. But then we're going to have some other instruments that we might want to use. So listen to this song that I put in before. I put these notes in, and I'm wondering if any of you recognize the song. You might know this song. So listen carefully. Okay, yeah, I guess we had a fill up there, didn't we? I thought you guys couldn't remember it. But you're right, it's Beauty and the Beast. Now let me ask you. Great. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this song, Beauty and the Beast, and we're going to do some other stuff to it now. Because I wrote in the melody. That's the part you can sing with, right? I'll bet when it was playing, you were even thinking about the words and forgetting them. Right? No? Okay. So now we're going to go to another part of the program. And we're going to do some fun stuff with the music, and we're going to make sort of a recording of it. And I'll show you how we can do different sounds. Okay, we're going to put it here. We're going to save this because we might need it again. That's the other thing that computers are really good about, is that you can save your work. I just saved that stuff, and it's all right in this computer. And if I ever need to come back to it, I can just click on the name of the song, and all that work will come back, and then I can work some more on it. I can make some changes, or I can make the song longer or shorter. I can do all that stuff on the computer. Very easy. No, it doesn't say that anymore, does it? Now we're going over here, and we're going to open it up again. Okay, now I'm going to play a little more of it, Beauty and the Beast, and those notes that you were looking at before, remember those notes? They're now hiding in these little boxes here, because I changed them with the computer, and those notes look a lot different. I'm going to show you what they look like now, because we're going to do something else with them. Look in here. Those same notes that we were talking about. Look at them now, they're kind of funny, aren't they? But I'm going to show you what happens now when we play it, okay? Go back over here for just a second. And now we're going to play. We can sort of follow it along. Watch this. Black line moves along right with the notes. Okay, that's all we're going to do for now. Now, we all sort of know that part, don't we? We go up and we'll go back in and look at the melody. Sound so far pretty good?
Yeah.
But I think we should add some more instruments. Don't you? Because I got a lot more instruments in the box.
Yeah, guitar.
Guitar? Shall we add some guitar?
Guitar.
Okay, you mean something that would sound electric guitar that would sound sort of like this? Or how about drums? How about a bass? Oh, drums. We'll come back. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to add a bunch of parts one at a time, and we're going to listen to it and see if we like it. If we don't like it, we'll change it, okay? So, first thing let's do, here's what I have. Let me just quickly show you. I've got to check something over here before I do it. Make sure that I'm doing it right. I've got a counter on here that tells me where to play. I call it a click. Listen to it. This tells me how to play on the beat. Listen. See? It counts for me. So now then I can play. So here's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to add one of the drum parts first, okay? I'm going to listen. I'm going to listen to the part that's already in there, but I'm going to add that thing, okay? Watch how I do it. This is sort of like a tape recorder. See, it says record right here. It's sort of like your cassette recorder, except it goes in the computer. We're going to record it. Watch. Come in. Here comes the kick drum now. Okay, we have, I call that the kick drum because if you ever, it's in there, isn't it? Okay, now we got some parts. Starting to sound pretty good, don't you think?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to add one more, you guys want the guitar?
Yeah.
I'm going to make you wait for it though. I'm going to put in a part that I call a click. It's sort of like a snare drum, but listen. Wait a bit. Okay, here's the bass. Now do you like the bass? Alright, I think I'm ready. Listen. I'm going to do that one over again, okay? I didn't like the way I played it. Listen, I'm just going to do it real quick again. Okay, now the guitar that you want to hear. Alright, I'm gonna make it just a little louder. This is electric guitar. See, if I hit it real hard, it gives that kind of sound. If I hit it easy, it gives that kind of sound. Alright, let's listen. I'm going to do some of the electric guitar. Here we go. Whoops, I made a mistake. I'll fix it later. go in and fix it. Watch how I do it. I'm going to go into the spot right where those notes are. There's all the notes that I just played on the guitar. See them?
Yeah. Oh, play it right.
But this section right here is the part that I didn't like. So you know what I'm going to do?
What? Change it.
I'm going to get rid of it. Here it goes. Watch it.
Bye-bye.
Gone. Okay. Now we have one other part that we're going to add, and our song is almost done. What's this instrument sound like to you? Right. Harp would be good, wouldn't it? I'll see if I can find a harp. Listen. Now listen, do you think violins would sound good on this song?
Yeah! Every single one of them.
Every single. Here they come. Listen to the violins. Okay, sounds pretty good. All right. Very good. I'm not sure that let me see if I can. How did I get it in there? That's a good question. How did the violins fit in that box? They do it electronically. What they do is they hold a microphone up to a real violin player, okay? And they have him play some notes, okay? And then the computer stores that sound on a little disc like this. And then when I play my keyboard on the same computer, I can hear that violin player. So that violin that you were hearing, that was a real player that was someplace, sometime was recorded. Yes? When I'm old, can you have this machine? Well, I may still want to do this when I'm old. You know what? Here's what you're going to know. Oh, when I die, sure you can have it. No, listen. All this equipment you see here, you know who has this equipment that you can use?
Everybody.
This school. Right. Weiser Park has all this equipment that I'm using. And so next year or the year after when you're taking music class from Mrs. McCoy, she'd be more than happy to show you how to use this equipment. Mrs. McCoy.
Right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Okay.
I liked it very much, and it was cool, and it was so awesome.
So when I finished writing your music, finished the score and got it the way I wanted it, what I did was I pushed a couple buttons on the computer which extracted the parts and I faxed those to Mrs. McCoy. Those are the parts that you were playing from. So let's go in and look a little bit about how I put the music in the computer.
When I grow up, I'm going to be a composer, and I'll write music. I liked working with Mr. Lavendor, and he made a song on the computer, and we liked it.
best part about working with Mr. Lavender was the kind of stuff he taught us about playing our instruments and working on songs.
I think Mr. Lavender is really nice, and it was a pleasure working with him, and he was really nice, and everybody got into his songs and everything, especially Johnny Appleseed when we were doing that hand thing, and he was like smiling, and so were all the kids, and I thought that was really cool. And it was neat that he came and he showed us with a computer, a keyboard, and a big screen TV how all of our music was composed. And I'm just really glad that we could be the school, since a lot of high schools and middle schools don't even get it, and most elementaries don't even have a band. So, well, thank you.
When I was a kid, music class was just an excuse to get out of gym.
Oh, yeah, but some kids at one elementary school in town are learning there's more to music than just saying nope. Are they getting this expert instruction? Stick around to find out. Picture dozens of kids in hot, oversized band uniforms trying desperately to play the right notes at the right time. But that may not be the case anymore at Weiser Park Whitney Young Elementary School. They're being taught by one of the best. This week, composer Paul Lavender is going to spend 3 days working with the school's band, teaching them the art of making music. Not only is he going to teach them the classics, he's also going to teach them to play a song that he wrote for them himself. Lavender was commissioned by the school to write a song for the school's Summit Band, and they sound great.
They do.
Yeah.
They're playing tomorrow night, and we'll try to be there and show it to you on Nightcast.
What I liked best about working with Mr. Lavender was listening to the synthesizer play the songs he composed.
Finally, tonight they were making music over at Weiser Park Elementary today with a little help from a friend. That's composer Paul Lavender there. He began a 3-day residency at the school, working with all the students in the 4 bands there. He was commissioned by the school and wrote a piece called Celebrate the Summit, just for them. Lavender is from Milwaukee, from a publishing company.
We specialize in printed music for all types of organizations. In this case, I'm working on band music, and this is a piece that will likely be published that bands all over the country can use.
Sounds like a lot of fun, doesn't it? Tomorrow night is the big night of the bands at Southside High School. Starts at 7 o'clock. Then Friday, Lavender will be working with preschoolers and kindergartners, believe it or not.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I didn't realize that they played music that young.
They start so much foreign language, everything younger now, I think.
That's just amazing.
It is.
Ought to be fun.
What I liked best was watching Mr. Lavender type the keys and the notes coming up on the computer.
I thought working with Mr. Lavender was a really neat experience, and I think every kid should have the chance to do that.
We want to welcome you to one of the events that we always look forward to in our year of Southside High School. We show you what all you've been hearing at home, bits and pieces of all year, how it all sounds when we put it together. This is always a special evening, but this year it is particularly special to us because, as I'm sure most of you know, we have had a very special guest artist visiting with us this week who has written a piece especially for our 5th grade band, which we're hearing at the end of the evening, but who has been working with our children yesterday, today, and with some of our younger children tomorrow. This is a very, very special opportunity for us. The guest artist who's with us does not traditionally work with elementary schools and was intrigued by our proposal in terms of what we were hoping to do. I should say what Mrs. McCoy was hoping to do when she put this together a year ago. And because of that interest, he decided to come and be a part of this program with us, and we're grateful for that. His visit has also been a big plus for us in terms of community support, because there has been a great deal of community support to pull this particular evening together. And to that end, we have a very special opportunity in terms of a guest from the mayor's office who is here to share with you a proclamation from the mayor. And I introduce to you Mike Cash from the mayor's office.
whereas funding from Meet the Composer Midwest and the Weisser Park with the PBA has made it possible for Paul Lavender of Milwaukee to become the school's composer in residence. And whereas Mr. Lavender has been working with the students of Weisser Park with the Young to develop a commission composition based on the student knowledge of Fort Wayne history. And whereas the work titled Celebrate the Summit has 4 movements focusing on construction of the fort, the rivers flowing into Fort Wayne, the life of folk hero Johnny Appleseed, and the city's past and future. And whereas Mr. Lavender will be at the school for 3 days working with the students to teach them the art of composing by a computer and the polish of performance of Celebrate the Summit. Now therefore, I, Paul Lavender, Mayor of the City of Fort Wayne, Indiana, hereby proclaim the week of May 31st, 1994, the week of music.
Before I introduce you to Mr. Lavender, I'd like to say a couple things. 11 years ago when I started teaching instrumental music, and some of you who played in young bands know, there was nothing available. When you played in bands when you were a kid, there was one band builder book, and you all played orally and the same old songs over and over every year. And when I first started teaching, it was that way. And some music companies all of a sudden, I think, discovered computers and discovered what a market was out there. And all of a sudden, new pop tunes and new things that were just on the market started coming out for young bands, not just for high school bands, not just for college bands. And my job became so much more fun, and so much more fun for the kids to be involved in music, because all of a sudden we had music to play. And for 2 or 3 years I thought if we need to do a commission piece for our band, but how would we ever pay for that? How would we ever pay somebody to come do that? And through someone who's an artist in Fort Wayne who has artist contact, Colleen Benninghoff, we have to thank, gave us contact, and we wrote Meet the Composer Midwest and National Meet the Composer, and they funded us for a total of $2,100 to have Mr. Lavender with us. And our PTA funded us for a large sum also to make it possible, which is your money, okay? The PTA funded a large portion, but you guys have all made this happen. And I thank you for that. It has been an incredible time for the kids the entire year working with Mr. Lavender. He would write part of the piece, pass it to us, we'd try it out, he'd call me an hour later and say, how was it? Because he was anxious to see it. Until he came yesterday, he never heard it played, except by his keyboard or his computer. So it's been fun for him to work with live music. We need to thank Meet the Composer Midwest. It's called the Jerome Foundation, the Dayton Hudson Foundation, the Metropolitan Life Foundation, the Xerox Foundation, and the National Endowment for the Arts. The NEA supports this, and the NEA does some wonderful things that you're going to see here tonight. Also, General Electric is a sponsor for this also through National Endowment for the Arts. We want to thank General Electric. But if you have General Electric ties, you want to tell your employers, thank you, and please keep supporting our community. Okay, on with the show, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Lavender. There's lots of program about him that I hope you get a chance to read during the program. I'm sure you won't be bored for any moment, but if you get a chance, you might want to read about him. He's from Milwaukee, flew in yesterday, and has had a wonderful time with the kids. We have one more day to go tomorrow, and it's really been an honor to have him be part of our school, part of our extended family. Mr. Paul Lavender.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and this is, even for those of us in the music industry, a very unique experience to work with beginning players on an original piece for band. So it's been a great pleasure to learn about your city, to work on the piece, to work with the students, and of course the great faculty and staff here, Mr. Bickle, and of course Mrs. McCoy. It's been a great experience for me. I look forward to working with some of the students even tomorrow. We've explored computer technology and how it applies to what I do in the music industry. And with all these great resources you have here, hopefully some of these students will look into this as a possible future for them, because the technology is there, and with the great teaching of all your teachers, hopefully some of these students will be able to pursue this. So I look forward to keeping the fine history of Fort Wayne. I've learned many interesting things about it. You have a unique city, and I hope you enjoy the piece that we'll play later.
Now, as Mr. Lavender and I were planning this concert, I decided I wanted to purchase some of his music and have every grade level play something Mr. Lavender had either written or arranged. There was nothing quite easy enough for second grade band. He had never written a second grade band before. It was a new experience. And I said, could you throw something together for us? Well, he commissioned a piece for second grade band. We now have it in our files. It's an arrangement of something called Beethoven's Ninth. And a funny story about it, which is priceless. Passed it out to the kids, got on the fax machine on a Wednesday morning. We had it Wednesday afternoon discipling. And one of the boys raised his hand. He said, how can there be a theme from Beethoven's Ninth? There's only been 2 movies of it. Beethoven music came from the movies. So we go to the Beethoven movies, they play it throughout the movies. So we had a long talk about who Beethoven was and why it was called the Ninth, okay? And it was Danny's job. Please welcome Mr. Lavender, he's going to guest conduct that. What I didn't discover until yesterday was the best part of having Mr. Lavender here was for me to sit back and not conduct and watch him have some very hot, intensive rehearsals with my band. I've enjoyed seeing what the kids can do, slipping and helping them out. It's been a real treat for me not to have to be on the podium all the time. This is a fun arrangement Mr. Lavender arranged, and I think you'll enjoy it. Rich for young man, these kids will enjoy it very much. Very difficult for their level. They do it super shy. Welcome, Mr. Lavender, please. I'd like to welcome Mr. Lavender back to the podium and his arrangement of The Mission. I think a lot of you will recognize it from somewhere else. The kids have loved this, and it's very difficult for them also. It sort of upped them all a level on the Mr. Lavender music, so they've tried a lot harder, I guess, than they have before. They've done a super job. Really good. 4 children in the band who are going to read a brief narrative before each movement of the piece. Mr. Lavender came to visit us at the end of January and met with all the bands, talked to them about Fort Wayne history and what was important. And we came out of it with 4 basic ideas. You're going to hear about them in a minute. You can see the program, what they're entitled. Building the Garrison, the rivers, we all know about the importance of the rivers in Fort Wayne, Johnny Appleseed, we all know about Johnny. And the last movement, Little Boy, is Fort Wayne Past and Future. It takes us into a futuristic mode. The music is wonderfully scripted music, and I've been thrilled to be a part of it. It's been fun. And we sort of own this song right now. And looking forward, we think we're going to see it for sale in a catalog, and when other bands buy this, it will say, Commission for Wyvern Park Whitney School. I'm just kind of excited that other bands around the country will buy it and use it with our name on it. Okay, Abby's going to read first for us, and then we'll begin.
Building the Garrison. In 1793, General Anthony Wade made his appearance in the Three Rivers area. Sent by President George Washington, he wanted to pursue the hostile course and establish a foothold in the New West. Wayne's reputation as a fierce fighter preceded him, and so Little Turtle, chief of the Miami Nation, decided to negotiate instead of fight. Little Turtle and his people allowed Wayne to build a garrison near the confluence of the Three Rivers. It was very hard work, but many of his men deserted and ran before the fort was completed. Much land had to be cleared and the timber handshake into rough hewing, lumber for the fortification on October 22nd, 1794. Wayne and his men moved into the first American fort to occupy this area. It was named in honor of its builder, Fort Wayne. Randy Appleseed was born John Chet in Massachusetts, in 1874. He was a devoted and religious man who wanted the frontier spread of the gospel of Jesus Christ and planted apple trees. Because the legend and the fact he is said to have traveled with only a change of clothes, apple seeds, a Bible, and a pot to cook with. Many wonderful stories have been told and written about this kind of single man's life. He remained 50 years and buried in the grave. City of history, city of future. The land of Fort Wayne has been a special place for more than 200 years. The rivers have provided an incredible source for all those that have lived here. Fascinating people and cultures. Events and activities have come, flourished, and remained as a testimony to its greatness. We are a community with a vital past and a formidable future.
thank Mr. Lavender again. Can we give her one more round of applause? About what he does for a living. There were the typical questions: how much money do you make? How old are you? Are you married? And there were some really thoughtful questions. One that really was neat, in fact, was quoted in the paper today. One of the gentlemen in the band said, Mr. Lavender, when you have to think up these ideas, how do you do it? Do you go someplace special by a river and sit and think about it? Do you do it at home? And he told them that he does it at home with his 3 kids interrupting him, just like other moms and dads. I think it's an incredible God-given talent that he can write something like this just from his head and take our ideas and pour away to capture it. And it's been an incredible experience for all of us, right, guys? Really incredible. And band would like to thank you, Mr. also. We have one last fun song we're going to do. I'm sorry. Who's fun? You're right. I can't forget Athens family. Great.
You had a good time. You act like you had a good time. Isn't this amazing when you consider that in most school systems, kids this age aren't even playing instruments yet. And here we have this kind of talent and this kind of program going on. It's amazing. Mr. Lavender, we have a couple things we want to present to you. First of all, each year, one of our students, or a group of our students, designed the pin for the multicultural focus for that year, and the new pin for this year, celebrating the bicentennial Fort Wayne, was designed by Elizabeth Scosa, and it will be handed out to all fifth graders during their recognition ceremony next week. But we would like Paul to have the first one from us, and it represents the bicentennial Fort Wayne. of our Quality Friends t-shirts. And you can't miss this for everyone. And I believe we have a presentation for another pretty significant person in all of this on behalf of the fifth graders. Kim Behrman? From Mrs. McCoy. She's telling me what to do. I have to take just a moment here, and then I hope you will all stay for ice cream because Southside High School PTA is planning on it. They have tons of ice cream and sending material at the end of the hallway on that. This is one way they support us, and we hope you'll support them. But I have to take just a moment to say what I think all of you already know. This is one incredible person that deals with these kids, who takes this group of boys and girls of yours and causes this to happen. And believe me, this was Laura's brainchild a year ago when she came to me and said, wouldn't it be neat if? She went after the funding, she went after the talent, she pulled it all together, she worked with these boys and girls all year long, and what you see tonight is well over a year's worth of hard work and effort on behalf of one person, and that's Laura McCoy, and that's what makes the Summit program special. Laura McCoy and dozens of other people like her that work with your boys and girls every day, and I want to publicly in front of you salute her. One more salute to all of these wonderful boys and girls who, if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be here in the first place, because they're the ones that work hard. Still telling me what to do. Their things are all across the hallway, in the classrooms, or in the band rooms, and classrooms across the hall. They need to pick up those things if you would follow them there, and then please stay for the ice cream social. Thanks for being so supportive in our program.
I really liked working with Mr. Lavender because he was a really nice person, and he worked with us kids, and he asked us if we liked the songs, and he made sure that we enjoyed everything we did. And I really think it was a neat experience to do this because I know a lot of kids don't have the opportunity to do it. And I think that Mrs. McCoy, she cares about us kids to let us do something so neat and to do something so exciting because I've never met a composer before, and this was a great experience, and I hope I get to do it again. And I just want to say thank you to Mr. Lavender for the great job that he did and for the wonderful music that he composed.
Thank you, Mr. Lavender, and thank you, Meet the Composer.
It was really fun.
Mr. Lavender came to visit us, I think this is January, and met with all the bands, talked to them about Fort Wayne history and what was important. And we came out of it with 4 basic ideas. You're going to hear about them in a minute. You can see the program, what they're entitled, Building the Garrison, the rivers, we all know about the importance of the rivers in Fort Wayne, Johnny Appleseed, we all know about Johnny. And the last movement, Little Boy, is Fort Wayne Past and Future. It takes us into a futuristic mode. The music is wonderfully to hear music, and I've been thrilled to be a part of it. It's been fun. And we sort of own this song right now. And looking forward, we think we're going to see it for sale in a catalog, and when other bands buy this, it will say, "Commission for Wyvern Park Whitney and School." It's kind of exciting that the bands around the country will buy it and use it with our name on it.
General Anthony Wayne made his appearance in the Three Rivers area in 1793. He was sent to the area by President George Washington. General Wayne was sent to subdue the hostile forces and establish a foothold in the New West. Wayne's reputation as a valiant fighter preceded him, and so Little Turtle, chief of the Miami Nation, decided to negotiate instead of fight. Little Turtle and his people allowed Wayne to build a garrison near the confluence of the Three Rivers. It was hard work. Many of his men deserted his ranks before the fort was completed. Much land had to be cleared, and the timbers shaped into rough-hewn lumber. On October 22nd, 1794, General Wayne and his men moved into the first American fort to occupy this area. It was named, in honor of its builder, Fort Wayne. Back before the first fort and the nation of Miami, before the first people occupied this land, great glaciers moved across this area. The last to recede, about 10,000 years ago, left two river outlets that drained the melting ice. These two rivers drained both ends of the mighty glacier basin and headed toward the large saltwater gulf to the south. As the waters drained, the land carved and shaped by the glacier sloped back toward the Great Lakes. This left a natural riverbed for the water to use. In time, the water was flowing toward the direction of the lakes, and as it did, created a third river in the area. Today, we know the drainage rivers as the St. Mary's and the St. Joseph. The Maumee was the pirate river that stole the waters of the other two to form the confluence of the Three Rivers. It is the rivers and the area where they meet that can claim the honor of being the land of Fort Wayne. who wandered the frontier spreading the gospel of Jesus Christ and planting apple trees. How much of what we know about him is legend and how much is fact is hard to say. But he is said to have traveled with only a change of clothes, apple seeds, a Bible, and a pot with which to cook. Many wonderful stories have been told and written about this kind and gentle man's life. His remains are buried in Fort Wayne. The land we call Fort Wayne has been a special place for many more than 200 years. The rivers have provided an incredible resource for all those who have lived here. Fascinating people and cultures, events and activities have come, flourished, and remained as a testimony to this great city. We are a community